Hey, what's up, OT runners? So I was going through glitchless collapse segment, and I found a bunch of little time saves. A lot of them have to do with getting Zelda to move between her waypoints quicker. Some of them have to do with lag reduction, um, and so I just wanted to go through each one because they're not obvious, and I'm doing a voiceover because I wanted to explain why each one works. So the first one here, we are in the very first area right after you spawn from the Ganondorf fight, going down the tower. And this one is mostly about lag reduction because this place is very laggy, mostly probably due to Ganondorf because the other outside areas are not laggy. So the prior wisdom here was to shoot a light arrow to cause the yellow halo from the light arrow to prevent Zelda from doing the purple magic on the gate. I've found that that's actually a little bit slower than just coming here and see-upping in the corner. Hopefully you don't get hit. But if you see up, it seems to save more lag on average than if you light arrow. And in particular, you don't want to see up looking up or looking down. Those seem to cause more lag than staying straight. I took an average of a bunch of different trials here. And you also don't want to see up facing the gate. Looking this way seems to cause more lag on average than not doing so. This one is a little bit dubious, probably the one I'm least confident in out of everything I'm going to talk about, because the lag here is random. Depending on where rocks are falling and stuff, you may get more or less lag. So depending on what my save states looked like, I may have gotten biased results here, but it seems like definitely see up saves more time than light arrow, so it seems. So I would do that, and also it's a good idea to see up at every single one of these gates because it actually saves 1 frame of real time, not the lag counter. Let me show you that. So Zelda is on a crash course here. She's gonna get here at the same time no matter what, but 1 frame is gonna get saved here if I see up on this gate versus if I don't. So let's not do it first. Regardless of lag, let's not take damage. And I'll explain why we don't want to take damage in a moment here. So regardless of lag, this takes how many frames to start moving? 197, right? But if I see up, we'll see that it's gonna be 196. This was found about a year ago that see up in certain cutscenes allows you to move a little bit sooner. In the case of all these gate opening cutscenes, it's 1 frame. So you'll see 196 now instead of 197. So you want to see up on every single one of these. There are 10 of them where you can see up, so that's a ½ second saved right there. My average time saved due to lag here was about 0.3 to 0.6 seconds if I see up as early as I could and saved as much lag as I could. So that's important. Let's move on to the next room. So in this next room here, you want to get Zelda moving as quickly as you can, and she moves when you get close to her. So you just want to get close to her as quickly as you possibly can. There are a few options here. You can just run, you can roll. The fastest option is to side hop twice, like this. That's going to save the most possible time, and we can time it. The rest of her movement, I couldn't find any way to influence it. There we go. So if you do 2 side hops there, you're gonna get how many frames? I didn't see up here, but you should. 232. Let's try one more time. $233. If you just walk at her, it's gonna be like 234, 235 usually. Rolling, you can get 233, 234. So I saved a frame, right? This one's small, but you just want to get Zelda to get moving as quickly as you possibly can. There is risk of talking to her if your side hops are not clean, but the risk is small, I think. Next. This next one's a little bit bigger. The idea here is that Zelda's trigger to get moving here is a little bit asymmetrical with the movement. So if you go to the right side, you can tell where she starts to move is pretty far forward, right? I was all the way over here when she started to move. Whereas if you go to the left, she starts moving sooner. So you want to aim to the left here, and then I think that's about it for this one. Don't go to the right. Go to the left, right? And you'll save a lot of time. I think this one is about 5 to 7 frames, depending on where exactly you jump, versus like if you go all the way left to the best position versus all the way right to the bad all the way left to the good position versus all the way right to the bad position. It's about 5 to 7 frames saved to getting Zelda to move sooner. Let's see. Next, we've got this room. You can't really do anything to get Zelda to move faster. So, as always, you just want to see up at the gate. You'll save a frame there. Now, this room does have something that you should not do. Zelda gasping is bad, right? She gasps for 2 reasons, and she stops moving to gasp whenever she does so it's slower, right? Because you need her to get to the gate as soon as possible. The first reason is taking damage. You don't want to take damage ever, otherwise she will gasp and stop moving. The second reason is if you fall more than 50 units. So if I take a big jump here and I fall, she's gonna stop to gasp. You see that? She got moving again pretty quick, but that is time lost. A gasp in this room, it seems to cost around 3 frames, so just make sure you don't jump by accident here. Next is the Stalfos. We're going to skip those because, you know, it's a Stalfos fight, whatever. It sucks. Random lag, random movements. We all know how to fight Stalfos. Next one is right after Stalfos. Here we have a mandatory jump, right? We have this thing. You have to jump. And so it seems like Zelda has to gasp, and in this room she seems to gasp for longer, about 5 or 6 frames. But they actually found a way to get her to not gasp here, and that is you want to roll to the right side here, and then jump off at such a time that Zelda herself is falling by the time she would have gasped. So this was a little bit too soon. Let's see if I can do it in real time. So, nope, not quite yet. There. Here we go, perfect. Right, so Zelda was falling during the time she would have gasped due to me falling, and I was able to skip the gasp. This saves 5 to 6 frames. So this is an important one. It's kind of big, and it's not too hard, and it's pretty safe. There, I got it in real time, right there. It takes a little bit of practice to find out the timing for when to jump, but it's a good time saver. And again, you should be C-upping on all the gates. I haven't drilled it into my muscle memory to see up at all these gates yet, so you'll see me forgetting a lot. Just make sure, don't forget, you can do it on every single one except to the second to the last one, which we're going to find out later. Next is this room. This is the first, this is an inside room where you can actually influence her movement. See how she stops at that waypoint? If you go straight through the middle of the room here, she will stop for longer. You can see the trigger for her to start moving is like somewhere around here, but if you go left first, she will move right away. So this room you can actually save, I think it was, let me check my notes, 3 frames by going to the left first to get her to move to her first from her first waypoint sooner. So let's try that. And the rest of it I wasn't able to influence at all, but if you just go straight, right, the time that you get is 2:10 versus going left first to make her move from her first waypoint sooner. Hopefully we get 2:07 here and my notes aren't wrong. And again, you should be C-upping, but I'm just not doing that to make sure you can see. 2:08, okay. It should be 2 or 3 frames. I'm pretty sure I got 3 earlier. Depends on exactly your movement, I guess. So the next thing in this room is that when she opens this gate, when she opens this gate here, you want to be to the right side of her, and the reason for that is her movement will start sooner if you go to the right here. Let's inch forward slowly, and we'll see. So she started moving when I crossed around 750, negative 750 in the Z direction. You can see the number, my coordinates of the first 3 numbers on the right side of the screen. So she started moving, she started turning right here at negative 750. Whereas if I start over here, if I run down the left side, you never go like perfectly down the left side, but you might think like, oh, if you get closer to Zelda sooner, she'll move sooner. But that's not true. Crossing 750 and she hasn't moved yet. So she started moving here, like 780, right? So it's like 30 units. I was able to save like 1 to 3 frames by hugging the right wall here. And then going down this staircase, don't get too far ahead of her. Especially if you take damage by accident and you make her gasp, she's gonna stop. And if you get too far ahead of her, she will completely stop. Because you get so far ahead that she just stops moving and she waits for you, but really you're waiting for her. It's very annoying. Don't get too far ahead of her. There's no downside to just walking casually down instead of rolling. If you roll, you might get too far ahead, especially if you take damage, which, again, you don't want to do because she'll stop to gasp, which is slower every time. Okay, and now this last room actually is the biggest time save I was able to find. You can save a lot of time in this room. So the first thing to know is that Zelda will stop in the middle of the bridge if you are to the right of center for some reason. As soon as you go left of center, she is happy for you to just keep going. She's like, oh, the redead is on the left, Link is on the left, that looks good to me. So just stay at least in the middle or to the left of middle until she reaches that first stopping point. If you go to the right early, she will stop and wait for you to get there. Also, redead will scream at you if you are walking too much versus rolling, so don't walk in between your rolls too much. Try to do nice rolls, squeeze them a little bit closer together than you normally would, maybe. So the second thing is that if you just go straight down the middle, Zelda won't stop, but now you're behind her, which is bad because you've lost out on distance, right? You're not as far forward as you could be, so you can solve that by doing 2 rolls down the center to make sure she moves as fast as she can, and then go to the right. So now I'm way further ahead, right? And specifically, you want the right here, not the left, because this is a big time save. If you go straight down the center, check out when Zelda moves, right? Zelda hasn't moved yet. Hasn't moved yet, hasn't moved yet. There she goes, right? All the way over here. But if you hug the right side, now the right side doesn't look very good because it looks like you're going to take damage and she'll gasp, but actually, if you roll so that you have invincibility, for some reason Zelda starts moving way sooner on the right here than if you go down the middle. So you can save quite a few frames by heading to the right there. And then lastly, you have the kiss, right? The kiss is important because Zelda pushes you into the loading zone and it saves a couple frames. But something that you might not know is that you can actually save an extra frame on the kiss by C-upping. If you C-up, you'll actually touch the loading zone 1 frame sooner. And if you don't, I'm missing it, but... One thing about going on the right side is it's a little bit harder to get ahead of Zelda sooner. So keep that in mind, which might make the kiss harder. But here, if we get the kiss both times... There we go. We get 150 frames on the load. But if I get the kiss and C-up, then you get 149 frames. So C-up on the kiss, if you can spare it, is good. I mentioned that the second to last gate is the only one you can't C-up on. and that's the one that we passed down there, because you need to spend your time rolling forward to get in front of the position behind Zelda. That saves more time than the 1 frame the C-up would save. So that's everything. All in all, if you get all of this stuff versus not doing it, you save, I think it was around 2 3/4 seconds. So not insignificant amounts of time save here. Some of it's lag reduction, some of it's Zelda manipulation, some of it is cutscene manipulation with the C-ups. All of it's good stuff. So good luck learning. And see you later.